Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Arsenal YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Arsenal Transfer Room Live. It is a Tuesday evening. We are approaching the start of the Premier League season, just 3 days away. I am very excited, but the transfer news is not going the way that we'd like it to. Now, look, we had an exceptional window earlier in the window, but the way that it's tailing off is a little bit of a concern, and we're going to talk about that today. There's loads of you here. I appreciate it's been a few days since we actually went live. I was away over the weekend, and then I was filming in Manchester yesterday, so it's good to be back. Pigeonhead, good to see you. Ethan Udal, Vivi Vlad, Vance, Pekka, Jim Heap, Umer, Idris is here as well. Ryan Patel, Alex, good to see you. I hope you are all doing very, very well. Hope you had a good weekend. Obviously, the Bilbao game, we've not spoken about it. I didn't do a reaction or anything to it. Good game. Much better. We wanted to see that momentum built up. And I really feel like we did. Lots of differences, clear differences in the way that we were building up, in the way that we were trying to attack. Beginning to see Calafiori and Martinelli, actually maybe that does work quite a lot better. It was good. Obviously, Gyökeres gets his first goal, a header as well, just to silence some of the critics. Have I made an FPL? Yes, I have made an FPL. I linked it in the Discord. I should probably put it in the description to the chat. But yes, there is now an FPL. If one of the mods could maybe put the link in the chat, that would be useful. Nid, good to see you. Hope the family is doing great and you had a nice time. We didn't know without you. Well, Nid, I apologize, but I am back. Good job in the 20v1. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, the 20v1 was fun. That was honestly, I enjoyed filming that day, and I think the content was good as well. What was that Zach Jalab video that you debated with Tobes? It was called an Arsenal fan versus 20 Premier League fans, I think. It's on YouTube. It was good. It wasn't just Tobes either. There was a few other people debated me as well. But it kind of felt like a lot of it was just a lot of their arguments about why, and it wasn't that Arsenal are going to win the league this season. It was just that Arteta will win the Premier League at Arsenal at some point. A lot of the arguments were just well, they haven't won it before, so they're not going to win it. And I just don't buy into that. But that was kind of pretty much what all of them were. Were the links to Malik Fofana by Indy Kyler legit? Well, I don't know. Indy Kyler's been very good. So, I wouldn't rule it out. But yeah, there's been nothing on that since. So it's difficult. Documentary idea, Rory, from hated to loved. Thoughts? I don't think we're quite at the stage of loved yet. I don't think we're quite there. Oslo Guna, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Max, good to see you as well. Look, we're going to talk about Eze. Obviously, Eze today has been strongly linked to Spurs, although Arsenal are still in the mix. We're going to talk about other targets that we've had throughout the summer that, don't really seem like they're our targets anymore and they could move elsewhere. And we're going to talk about the players that we need to sell and just the stories around them. I actually went through and collated all of them, and it's kind of crazy where we're at on the sales front. So it's difficult. The FPL code is that on screen. OOT5RK. However you make that out. But yeah, otherwise I did put the link in the Discord, and I'll try and put it in the description of this video as well for people that are watching it back. Jacob, thank you very, very much for the $9.99 super chat. Amazing show, Rory. You keep sane gooners believing. I stopped watching everything else but your show and Mo's. Jacob, I appreciate that. Shout out to Mo as well. Absolute legend. And look, it's like this season again. It gets to the start of the season and I get optimistic, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being an optimistic football fan. There's nothing wrong with being excited and being hopeful. And it might all go wrong again. And if it does, we'll be there and we'll deal with it. But yeah, look, we've got a very good team. We've had a very good summer, albeit not as perfect as it could have been. And I back the boys. JMD Video and Photography, thank you very, very much for the £5 super chat as well. Gonna miss the first home match of the season. Got my annual 2-week training camp with the Army Reserves. Come on, you gonna. Well, shout outs to you for doing your annual 2-week training camp. unfortunately, you're going to miss the first home game, especially because that first home game against Leeds is like the only quote unquote easy game that we have in the first 6. The first 6 games are a slog. But yeah, it's going to be tough. But hopefully you still get to watch it on TV from your training camp. There you go. Nid's put the link in the chat as well. Nid has put the link in the chat. The FPL, the FPL league is open. The only people that are going to know about the FPL league are you and people in the Discord. I'm not going to put it on Twitter. I'm not going to put it in a TikTok or anything like that. It will just be the loyalists that watch us on YouTube, because I appreciate you. Also, no offense, but you seem fitter, or are my eyes deceiving you? I think your eyes are deceiving you. Well, actually, you might be watching me right now in 4K. I think I tried to make it so that you are watching me in 4K. I don't know if that's worked, but you might be. Maybe I appear more fresh. I don't know. I don't know what that was. Tom, thank you very, very much for being a member for 5 months. Absolute legend. Eze to Spuds would make me go insane, and surely Nelson Vieira Trossard would get us at least 45 million. So really, there is no excuse, is there? I completely agree that there is no excuse. 1080p seems to be the max. Oh, never mind then. I apologize. I thought I was looking fresher, but I'm not. 1080p. It could be worse. Hey, those that were here in the beginning, they remember the 360p days. So at least we're up to 1080 these days. But Tom, I do appreciate you being a member for 5 months. As always, all of the members, absolute legends. It really does. It helps the channel massively. So I do appreciate you. Can you rate some FPL team names in the league for a segment of the stream? Yeah, possibly. At some point, we will do maybe like once a week. Maybe like on a Monday or a Tuesday. Probably a Tuesday, because I think Monday Night Football is going to be pretty common this year. Maybe on Tuesday streams, we'll have a little segment where we'll go through the FPL league, look at who's doing well. But yeah. Oh, you meant in the 20v1 video. Okay. Well, let's put that on. Well, I appreciate that though. I appreciate that. I suppose that's good as well. Have you seen the clip where Goldbridge calls the Leeds manager Patrick Bamford, and then Daniel Farquhar, the guy from Shrek? Yeah. I don't know. I can't tell with him whether it's deliberate or not. But yeah, I did see that. What are your thoughts on the performance against Bilbao? We'll talk about that. Let's talk about that after. We'll get through all of the transfer stuff, and then we'll talk about. We'll have a chat about the Bilbao game and about the United game, really, because it's coming up pretty quickly. But look, this is it. On Eze to Spurs, we'll start there. Ben Jacobs said fresh talks started in the light of James Maddison's injury and failure to land Morgan Gibbs-White. Eze is a long-standing target for Spurs, but earlier in the window they had decided not to move. Spurs are aware that Arsenal have player buy-in, as in Eze has committed to us, but believe Eze has not discounted them. Spurs also prepared to move quickly. Both Spurs and Arsenal view Eze as a number 10. Understand Spurs' starting valuation is similar to the 55 million that they paid for Kudus. Palace wants 68 million release clause triggered or matched even after it expires. So look, Spurs are going to be a way away from offering what Palace will want from them if they're starting at 55 and Palace are going to demand 68. As I've always said, that 68 I think is going to be difficult for Arsenal to do as well. So it is a tricky one. Join the FPL. You'll love to see it. But Sammy Mockbell said Arsenal have an interest in Eze, but the club are currently looking to try and move players on, with the likes of Leandro Trossard, Reece Nelson, and Fabio Vieira set to leave. And we're going to talk about the issues that we have with selling players in a little bit. That's going to be its whole section. With Jacob Steinberg also saying Spurs open talks over a move for Eze. Crystal Palace attackers release clause remains active and expires on Friday. Arsenal remain interested and will have the edge if they push for Eze, but they want to sell the likes of Trossard and Vieira at first. And that's where we have a stumbling block, when it comes to the sales. If this whole thing, and Gunnerblog said it as well, and multiple journalists have spoken about the fact that Arsenal need to sell in order to buy, and then that throws up questions, right, as well. People say, well, why did we move so quickly on Madueke without making any sales, but then we can't move quickly on Eze? It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. And we'll talk about all of those players that we're trying to sell in a second. In terms of our other targets that appear to be moving on, Very, very unpleasant reading about Manchester City considering Rodrygo. Fabrizio Romano yesterday saying Man City are considering a move for Rodrygo after imminent exits. Grealish is gone. McAtee and Savinho can leave. And Man City see Rodrygo as a dream target. Guardiola is a big fan. Real Madrid will let him leave if the player wants to, asking for around 100 million euros. That would massively pain me if Rodrygo ends up in the Premier League, but it's not at Arsenal. And then, of course, you still got Alexander Isak, who, was our number one target for such a long time. We're not even in the, we're not in the question. We're not in the conversation for him. With Liverpool going for him, and Ornstein again saying today, Isak is adamant that he will not play for Newcastle again, even if the window closes. Without the 25-year-old moving, he views his career at Newcastle as being over and has no wish to reintegrate. So, we're not making a move on Eze. Other targets that we've had are moving on. And it's frustrating because it's all because we've got this backlog of players that we cannot sell. Rory, if I told you I'm a Chelsea fan, would you believe me? No. No, I wouldn't, based on your name and your profile picture. I would find that peculiar, to be honest with you. Isak to Liverpool's just a matter of time now. It feels like it. And they're moving for Guehi, and they're moving for this Italian defender. They're having an unbelievable... if they get the players that they want, they are going to end up spending £500 million this summer, buying an entire back four and an entire front three, effectively, with Wirtz, Ekitike, and Isak. It's pretty mental. It really is. It's what you said a few weeks ago. Every time they say we need to sell to buy, it usually means our business is done. Yeah, basically. Or we end up eventually selling a couple of them and doing some, Raheem Sterling type move on deadline day. And look, we still have to hope that Andrea Berta is different. But he faces the same issues that Edu faced in terms of players on wages that are higher than they should be, that aren't going to move upwards from Arsenal, and that have every incentive not to take a permanent deal if it's offered. And if we start going through some of the players on this list, literally all of these within the last day or two, right? Serkan, this journalist called Serkan Hamzoglu, I believe. Fenerbahce have submitted an official offer for Zinchenko. Negotiations between parties are progressing fast. Arsenal want 15 million euros, but will facilitate a deal if the Turkish club can reach an agreement with Zinchenko. So the issue here fundamentally with Zinchenko is, will he accept a move to Turkey, or will he just let his contract run down for another year and get a big signing on bonus? So that's the problem with him. This is another one. Giannis Korianopoulos, Pawak, or what they call Pauk, the Greek team, are highly interested in Sambi Lokonga from Arsenal. But again, nothing has happened. Gazzetta Italia, Milan have Kivior as one of the options to replace Thior. But the deal is complicated as Arsenal want 35 million euros. 35 million euros, by the way, is an absolute bargain for Kivior if you could get him for that. Ryan Taylor, Fulham remain interested in Reece Nelson, remain in discussions. They would like an initial loan, but Arsenal would like a permanent deal, and Reece Nelson himself only wants to go on loan. Ryan Taylor again, Stuttgart are continuing discussions over a permanent transfer of Fabio Vieira, with Arsenal seeking a package worth up to £17.5 million. Mokbel, Trossard is set to leave this month, with another Turkish outlet, Yeni Açık, saying Galatasaray are considering transferring Leandro Trossard in case Barış Yilmaz leaves the team. It's just all of these players, and there are links there. There are options there. But it's just not happening. We're just not getting these players out the door because they're on too higher wages, and they know if they run their contracts down, they will get a move to a club that will pay them more and possibly give them a signing bonus. But that can't be up to them. We can't just keep having this situation where Reece Nelson's going, well, I only really want to go on loan. We go, no, you're done, right? And as harsh as that is for a player like Reece Nelson because he's tail end, for all of them, you just got to be more ruthless. Sonny, thank you very, very much for being a member for a month. Joined late, but if Eze goes to Spurs, I will lose it. He seems to play and behave in the Arsenal way. It will be very, very difficult to watch him go to Spurs. It really would. I could handle not getting him But watching him go to Spurs would be very difficult. We need the Tomiyasu treatment. We do. Zinni wants to hold out his contract too. Like, fuck off, mate. Yeah, exactly. And look, I get it. And their agents, by the way, their agents will be telling them, hold out. You're not going to get higher wages than you're on now anyway. So spend another year getting the higher wages and then get a bigger move in terms of a signing on bonus at the end of it. But like, it shouldn't be up to them. It shouldn't be up to them. And it's holding us back. How is it that Chelsea are able to move all of these players on so easily? Well, part of it is because they're all on low wages at Chelsea. Whereas we've got players, and look, I understand, right? I understand that with like Zinchenko, to get Zinchenko through the door in the first place, we had to offer him higher wages than he was worth to get him to move from City to Arsenal. Reece Nelson, I think in hindsight, we gave him too much when we renewed his deal. Fabio Vieira, I think, was probably just a poor purchase in the end. But the Kivior one is crazy because I think that was a good purchase and he's done well for us. And I can't believe that no one is willing to offer more than 35 million euros for him. How do you know all this? How do I know all what? All of the things that I've just said have come from various journalists. I've just compiled it all together. For some reason, even though Fabrizio had mentioned links with Tottenham and Eze, I don't believe it. Everyone's mentioned it. Don Burton needs to tap into his mob connections and get these guys out. We don't want to go down the route of Nottingham Forest, but kind of. What scoring record do you predict for Glock 14 again? Did I say 20 goals? I think I said if he hits 20, it'll be a good season. The reason nobody is moving as of yet. Well, because they're all earning too much money. Like the reports are saying, like the reason Nelson wants to go on loan is because that takes his contract down by another year. It's so frustrating with the sales. It is. Did I thank Mr. Marinakis today? No, I've not thanked him. Thank you, Mr. Marinakis, for allowing me to live on this blessed day. But yeah, it's frustrating. But it's more frustrating when the club are turning around and clearly briefing, well, we're not going to go and sign anyone until those sales are made. Just do it. The only saving grace is that it's a World Cup year, so there's hope they leave. The problem is, if you look at these players, right, Reece Nelson's never going to be in the England squad. Zinchenko will always be in the Ukraine squad. Kivior will always be in the Poland squad. Fabio Vieira probably won't be in the Portuguese squad even if he leaves Arsenal. So it's like... and Sambi Lokonga's, maybe gets into the Belgian... He won't get into the Belgian squad. Is the FPL League private? Yeah, you need a code to enter it. I do think we're going to suffer for a while with the sales. It's going to take time. Yeah, but we've been saying this for a while now. We have been saying this for a while. We've not given out a contract recently that I massively disagree with. I think Martinelli's probably on too much money. How come no one's leaving? Because they don't want to. Clubs still think that we have a combined group of issues which are causing us problems. So you've got players that are being paid too much, aren't going to upgrade, and therefore don't want to leave. You've got clubs that still treat Arsenal as mugs because we have a horrendous record of selling players, and so they lowball us, which is why you're seeing 35 million euro bids for Kivior, which is a joke. Not even 35 million. Arsenal would accept 35 million euro bids, and you're not even seeing that. And so yeah, it's just a bad. But it's like, this is the difficulty, right? To get out of that cycle of being mugged off, you do have to hold firm. But holding firm is going to cost us. It's difficult, and we did it when it came to buying players as well. You know, we refused to go above our top limit on a lot of players over the last few years. So we are now respected when it comes to buying players. We're just still not respected when it comes to selling players. Porto offered like 27 million euros for Kivior. What a joke. Yeah. And look, I wouldn't expect Porto to offer any more. Like, that would be, to be fair, someone commented on one of my streams or videos being like, that would be their most expensive centre-back signing ever. But equally, it's like, you know, He'd also probably be their best. Well, no, he wouldn't be their best centre back ever, to be fair. But like, he's just worth more than that. Like, to a Premier League club, Kivior to a Premier League club is easily worth £35 million, I would say. Between Zinchenko, Jesus, Vieira, Sambi, Nelson, we're holding nearly 650k a week in wages. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's not just about making, 40, 50, 60 million in sales. It's also about the wages that we're paying to them. So it's really frustrating. It is really frustrating. And we were in the exact same position last year. Literally the exact same position last year. What were your predictions for the first 5 matches? I didn't watch it, and I don't want to leave the stream right now. My predictions for the opening 6 games: beat Man United away, beat Leeds at home, draw at Anfield, beat Nottingham Forest, draw at home to City, and beat Newcastle, which was bold. 4 wins and 2 draws from the opening 6 games was ambitious. But like I said, I'm an optimist. If Kivior was a Brighton player, he would go for 55 mil, honestly. 100%. Look at Jarrell Kwanzaa going for 40 million, 35, 40 million. It's crazy. Nid said likes, please. Yeah, please do click the like button. There's nearly 400 of you here. Please do click the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. It takes you 2 seconds, but it does massively help me out. And if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. We're on the way to 23,000 subscribers. Is the code wrong? Says invalid code when I try to enter. Oh, I'm not sure. Has anyone had success with the code? I'm not too sure. If Kwanzaa can be worth 30 mil, Kivior locked up Donatello should be at least 59 mil. Look, he should be more than what he's going for, that's for sure. But yeah, you look at the way that Liverpool have sold players this summer. Crazy. But again, part of that is because they weren't on high wages. So it's difficult. It's difficult and it's frustrating. And, watching Eze go to Spurs as a result of it would be very, very annoying. One thing I would say with the Eze thing is that Ben Jacobs said Arsenal view Eze as a 10. And one thing I would say is this, if we actually go back to Eze as a signing, I love him as a player, and I think he's a great guy, and clearly bringing him back to Arsenal would be amazing. But I do think £68 million, which is the release clause that Palace want, and if they're going to negotiate after that release clause has expired, they're still going to want that. 68 million for a player that, even as a fan base, we can't really agree on or work out where he's going to play or where he's going to fit in. I do think it is a lot. It's not the first choice that I would have. My first choice would obviously still be Rodrygo, but I would be looking at a left winger rather than Eze as a 10, where you've got, obviously you've got Ødegaard, and I think Ødegaard is looking better. You've got Waneri coming through. You've got Dalman eventually going to come through. And we're still lacking on the left. So, Eze wouldn't be first choice. I'd even, by the way, if this doesn't work, I'd be looking to go and hijack that Simons deal, which still hasn't happened either. Because for whatever reason, Chelsea seem to be prioritizing Garnacho at the moment. But yeah, ultimately, if we didn't stump up the 68 million for Eze and he stayed at Crystal Palace, I wouldn't be that mad. But if he goes to Spurs, it will piss me off. And if we don't then go for a left winger, if we don't get someone on the left, I don't know. Arteta wants Eze to be an Ødegaard backup. Yeah, but I don't think Waneri's the Ødegaard backup. So I don't know. Obviously Eze can play off the left. Look, I guess he would just replace Trossard. I guess that is it. Eze would just replace Trossard in the squad in terms of a versatile attacking player, but he definitely is more central than Trossard. Madueke is the left winger, possibly, but I don't feel like that was the true plan. I feel like a lot of bringing in Madueke was cover for Saka. So it's difficult. Arteta doesn't trust Ethan defensively, which is fair. Waneri still has a lot to learn in that position and in that role. But if you bring in Eze exclusively to be the backup to Ødegaard, Nwaneri's not going to get the time or the minutes to develop in the way that he needs to. So it's difficult. I've liked what I've seen from Noni, but I don't think he's a big enough upgrade on the left. That's my feeling. Like, when you look at some of the options that are out there in terms of a Rodrygo, which is just a guaranteed big upgrade on that left wing. I know it's expensive, but I'd be going for it. Arsenal Station are saying that we've agreed a deal for Eze. Are they a reliable source? I've never heard of Arsenal Station. I'm going to be honest with you. I've literally never heard of it. But no, look, even without Eze, I do still think we have a solid squad. Going into the league this season, I do think we have a solid squad. I do think we have depth in the vast majority of areas. I think the vast majority of starting spots in the team are very, very strong. And it really is only the left wing that I think is clearly an upgradable position. Even if you're saying it's going to be Madueke, I still think that's upgradable. Who starts this Sunday at left wing? Martinelli? Yeah, probably Martinelli, to be honest with you. I put it out on Twitter yesterday. I would assume that the starting 11 against United will be the same starting 11 that played against Bilbao. That would be my starting 11 anyway. The only change I could see him making is maybe Havertz for Gyökeres. Just because I don't 100% know how much he trusts Gyökeres yet, but I think that's what I would do. The thing is, he'll put in Martinelli because he trusts him defensively, and Man United's biggest threat will come down their right-hand side, our left-hand side. Like the combination of Ahmad as a wing-back and then Mbeumo ahead of him. That is really their bigger threat. And so I think, knowing the defensive work that Martinelli does, I just think Arteta's more likely to trust him to play there. Gyök has to start. Mate, I'll tell you what. Havertz looked good as well at the weekend, by the way. So, don't get me wrong. I would definitely start Victor Gyökeres. But, listen, I think the fact that we've got both of them, Havertz is looking quick and strong. It's good. It's good. And some of the link-up play was really good in that game as well. Some of the link-up between Ødegaard, Zubimendi, Havertz, Gyökeres, Martinelli. Obviously not Havertz and Gyökeres at the same time, but it's been 3 years with the same left wingers. Yeah, that doesn't even annoy me. It's been 3 years with the same right winger. The thing that's annoying is that it's been 3 years with the same left wingers and they've not improved. That's what's annoyed me. I'd go Timber. I'd go Timber over White, I think. 4-4-2 might be the answer. I think it's an option. I don't think it's the answer. But I do think it could be something that we, like, in-game switch to, if necessary. It definitely won't be the way that we play against United. The thing is, we got such a difficult start to the season. Like, we don't really have the option to be messing around at the start of the season trying to figure out new things. And even with what we are trying to do, like, you can clearly see there are changes that we've made to the way that we're playing. There are changes to the way that we're building out from the back. There are changes to the way that we're moving forwards. There are changes to the way that Saka and Martinelli are coming more narrow. Like, if you look at the Saka goal, both of them are central at that point. But it will take a while for them to get used to it. Like, it's, you know, it's easy to say this is what we're doing now, and it's easy for Arteta to say this is what I want you to do now. But it will take a while because they're so adapted and used to the way that we played before. Gunnerblog was saying Havertz has an injury. When did Gunnerblog say that? He missed the game before with a slight something, but I don't know. Did he get injured? Thoughts on Fofana? I like Fofana. Fofana's a player that I would bring in to play off the left. Would you play Havertz and Gyökeres together? At times, yeah. It's 100% an option at times. Both of their link-up play is really good. They're both strong, powerful runners. Trying to deal with both of them at the same time as the defense would be difficult. One injury away from Saka, Havertz, and Martinelli again? Not really. Like, to be at Saka, Havertz, Martinelli, you would need Gyökeres to be injured and Madueke to be injured. I do not like the Fofana links. Why not? Yeah, Havertz had an injury before Bilbao, but it was nothing. It was completely minor. Gunnerblog was talking about the Havertz injury that meant Gyökeres started the last game. Oh, right. Yeah. But so Havertz had a minor injury going into that Bilbao game. He missed the Villarreal game. But then you don't know if Gyökeres has now done enough to convince Arteta to start him. I don't know. If I had to, knowing Arteta, it really wouldn't surprise me. And I said, by the way, I said this weeks and weeks and weeks ago. It really wouldn't surprise me if the front three going into the game is Saka, Havertz, Martinelli, just because he knows he can trust it. And he knows if he needs to, he can bring Gyökeres off the bench. And I wouldn't even be that mad. I'd only be mad if Havertz got a really easy opportunity and didn't score it. But when is the Talks Football YouTube channel coming? Soon. Yeah, there is going to be a new channel for non-Arsenal related football content. So just talking about the wider Premier League, which I'm excited for. What did you think of Liverpool's performance against Palace? Yeah, not the best. But again, I think it's going to take them a while to adapt. You've got two new fullbacks. You've got two new attacking players. Like, again, it's not just as easy as just like plug and play, let them go. Like, it is going to take a while. And I think defensively, look, it's always one of them. With Van Dijk, he looks vulnerable at the moment, to be honest with you. But, you know, is that just pre-season? He's getting a bit older. Takes a little bit longer to get back into the groove. Don't know. I'm not going to get carried away with it because Community Shield games often go one way and then the team that lost it win the title. So does that work in our favour for our game against them? Against Liverpool, do you mean? Probably. I do think playing them at Anfield this early is actually a good thing before they've fully found their rhythm. Leao or Rodrygo? Rodrygo for me. Rodrygo's been the one, before the window was even opened, I've wanted Rodrygo. So Rodrygo is 100% the one for me. Although at this stage, would I take Leao? Yeah. I would take Leao at this stage if it was offered. We're seriously going to fall behind because of the lack of business. I don't think we'll fall behind. If we go into the season with the squad we've got now, I still think we'll compete. I do still think we'll compete with the squad we've got now. The question is, when it hits crunch time, do I back the squad? Yeah, but I'd back it a lot more if we had the left winger. What's Berta's history with sales? Decent, to be fair. Even when he's made bad signings, he's got a lot of money back for them. So, like Griezmann, for example. So, yeah, his João Felix as well. Even his bad signings, he's ended up selling for a decent amount afterwards. But Marino, Kai, Gyökeres front line would break the fabric of reality. We could see it at some point. I mean, it would be more, obviously one of them really would be the midfielder, but it's not impossible. I think Rodrygo is coming. I know I'm wrong, but I am right. I have no hope when it comes to bringing Rodrygo. I've lost all hope. Lookman does nothing for me. Excuse me. I like Lookman. I think Lookman would be a good move to pivot to. Makes Edu look like a clown. I'll tell you what, right? Don't get me wrong. Edu wasn't good enough. Definitely wasn't good enough, especially when it came to buying players. But I do look back and you go like, between Balogun and Ketia and Smith Rowe, he got 100 million quid. That's actually not bad. When you look at what the three of them have done since, that was actually decent business. Leao deadline day deal looking more likely every day. I mean, we would take it. Ornstein saying Southampton have rejected £30 million for Fernandes. Crazy when you think about the Kivior price. Yeah, exactly. You're championship players for 30 mil, but we can't convince someone to get Kivior who've locked down Real Madrid. It's insane. If we don't get Rodrygo and Eze, who would you want at Arsenal? Me personally, I'd love Leao. I'd take Leao at this point. Exclusive for a lad named Footy2SA. He's a liar. He's a liar. That 2SA didn't he used to be called 2SAFC anyway? He's a liar. He's a liar. Still think we somehow get another centre back? I doubt it at this point. Especially considering obviously Liverpool are in the market, and then I think Chelsea are going to go back into the market for another one as well. Maresca basically made it sound like he wanted one. How's he got 15k followers? Who, that 2SA guy? I'm not sure. He literally, didn't he fabricate? I'm pretty sure he fabricated a conversation with Hand of Arsenal in his DMs that never even happened. Who should we target next season if we don't win the league and sign no left winger this season? Well, again, we should be going for a left winger next season, but if we don't get one this season. But again, thing is, by that point, there will be someone new that's come out of nowhere. There always is. What will Reece Nelson sell for? Not a lot. Have you seen Steve K saying the Eze deal is done? Oh, Steve K. Steve K. Literally the biggest bullshitter you will ever come across. Richard Carr just died. Arsenal tweeted it, RIP. RIP Richard Carr. RIP Richard Carr. I didn't see that. What did they say? We're sad to learn that former Arsenal director and board member Richard Carr has passed away. Everyone at the club is thinking of Richard's loved ones during this time. Rest in peace, Richard. There you go. Very sad. He was 87. 87 years old. So he had a good innings. Seen AFTV and now Arsenal post about Trossard wanting to leave this window, yet nothing from Fabrizio. Now, it's fairly well known now that Trossard is looking to leave. Mockbell said previously that it was expected Trossard was going to sign a new contract, and he just hasn't. So, yeah, I do think the feeling now is that Trossard is going to leave. And if Trossard does leave, we have to go out and get another attacker. Like, we literally have to. So, Palace are going to sell Gahey for just 30. Yeah, but he's only got 1 year left on his deal. What happened to Jimmy McCann? Because I swear he was great for Rice News. I don't think he takes it seriously. I don't think he particularly cares about being in the know or anything anymore. Like, he used to be a football journalist, so he's still got a lot of contacts. But he basically just can't be asked. I think Zubi will surprise a lot of people this season. He looks so sharp against Bilbao. I've been saying this. I think he's the most slept-on signing of the summer. There's a reason Liverpool wanted him. Madrid wanted him. Like... He's an absolute baller. He's everything I think we wanted him to be. La African, yeah, again, that La African goon is like, seems like a fine account, but they're not a source. Like, anyone that doesn't regularly give you legit news coming out and saying something as big as both Saka and Saliba have both signed a new deal, it's not true. Not true. Zubi is my tip for our player of the season. Could be. Could be. Can you do a game week 1 prediction? What, for the whole of the Prem or just for Arsenal? I can do a game week 1 prediction for the Prem. Where are the games? Why doesn't it show where the games are? Mate, FotMob on desktop just isn't as easy to use as the app. So, Liverpool versus Bournemouth, Friday night, the opening game of the season. I think you've got to go for a Liverpool win. I think you have to go for a Liverpool win based on the fact that Bournemouth have lost Kirkez, Huijsen, and Zabani now. Decimated backline. Villa versus Newcastle United. I'm going for a Villa win. Villa at home. Villa Park will be bouncing. Newcastle kind of in disarray. Everything that's going on with Isak. That'll be a bit of a mess. Brighton, Fulham. I'll go Brighton, I think, at home to win. I think Brighton are going to have a good season. Sunderland, West Ham is a really interesting one. Almost feels like a relegation 6-pointer already. I'm going to go draw. I'll go draw between Sunderland and West Ham. Spurs, Burnley. I think Spurs will beat Burnley. Burnley, I think, are going to have an awful season. Wolves against Man City. Problem is, Wolves have been decimated. I'll go Man City win, annoyingly. Chelsea Palace. I'm actually going to go for a draw between Chelsea and Crystal Palace. Forest Brentford. Probably go Forest. Brentford have had a tough window. Arsenal United, we're going for the Arsenal win. And yes, there will be a watch-along. We will be live on Big Up for the watch-along. Manchester United versus Arsenal. It is going to be a big watch-along. It is going to be tense. And then Leeds United against Everton. I would go, I think, an Everton win. Even though it's at Elland Road on a Monday night, I think Everton are shaping up well. So I think that's what I would go for. Ricardo, good to see you. Late arriving as baby woke up. Good to have you back. Too many YouTube hosts are being, I feel, too emotional. Negative comments about our transfer window because of Eze. Come on, you Gunners. Yeah, look. The way that the window is ending is frustrating. There's no way. There's no two ways about it. It's frustrating because we feel like we are just that one extra player short. And to get that extra player, we just need to make some sales, but we seem incapable of doing that. However, it's still been a solid window. Like if at the start of the window you'd said we'd have done Gyökeres, Zubimendi, Madueke, Mosquera. Mosquera, by the way, looks like an absolute bargain. Norgard and Kepa. I think you'd been relatively happy with it. Is La African Guna reliable? No, he's not. He's not a. La African Guna is not a source. It's not a source. Footy2SA just called you out. Called me out for what? Unless I've got the wrong person, what's he called me out for? To be fair, I can't even find the account. What's the account called? 2SAFC or whatever it is. Oh yeah, Footy2SA. Just tuned into Rory Talks Ball stream calling me a liar. No, I did not fabricate any messages. A fake Hand of Arsenal messaged me to collab. Me being the idiot I am, thought it was real, and no one's going to turn that offer down. Anyway, love you, mate. Well, if you're still watching, I apologize, but that was all I saw. So I apologize, but yeah, there you go. That was what I saw. So what can I say? Quality window, Zubia Mosquera. Yeah, I think honestly, Mosquera he's played what 3 games, and he's played at right back, right centre back, and left centre back. And he looks very comfortable in all 3 positions. Looks comfortable on the ball. Physically looks comfortable. So it's kind of crazy. Liga. I'm not going to read that. La African Guna. I just don't think it's a source. I think it's an aggregator, right? It's like when Eddie Hayne drops a bomber, and it's you got to take it with a pinch of salt. That said, I only really trust about 3 journalists. Like, if it's not Ornstein, Mockbell, kind of Fabrizio, or Hand of Arsenal, then I'm not really interested. What's going on with Hand of Arsenal? Nothing. But this is why I like Hand of Arsenal. There's nothing to say, so he's not saying anything, right? Hand of Arsenal hasn't tweeted in what, maybe like nearly 2 weeks now? Because there's been nothing to say. He's not tweeted in 2 weeks, and nothing has happened in that 2 weeks. That says it in itself. And that's what I like about David Ornstein as well. Ben Jacobs has had a really good summer, actually. Yeah, Ben Jacobs has had a really good summer. Do you have a goal you're working towards besides getting to the next 1,000 subscribers? Not really. Like I've always said, my goal was always to be able to make football content full time. And I do that now. So yeah, that's kind of it. Just want to keep growing, I guess. Yeah, Ben Jacobs is good. And Indy Kyler has just, they definitely sold their account to some actual journalists, but the Indy Kyler summer has been mad. Have you seen the multi-screen thing on Sky this year? Yeah, finally. Finally, the Sunday 2 p.m. games. We're gonna have. We're gonna be able to pick and choose which game we watch and watch multiple games at the same time. Can you bring back player ratings every game week? I probably can. It might just be that the player, because the reason I did the player ratings videos on TikTok was just as a bit of a way of like having a video that allowed me to just speak about each player through the game, from that game, and just speak a little bit about them. But obviously now I'm making the YouTube videos. I feel like it, like what I want to say about those players will just be in the YouTube match reaction, and giving them actual numbers, the player ratings. Like, it was never that consistent in terms of my ratings from one game to the next, because it was always just based on emotion anyway. Jim, thank you very, very much for becoming a new member of the channel. Jim Heap, absolute legend. He's always in the chat. I appreciate that, Jim. Seriously, the support is greatly appreciated. Rather a YouTube video? There you go. There you go. 22.6k completed. Pretty slow 1,000 this time. Need some big news to hit the 23 before the season starts. Yeah, it's also my fault, though. Like, I've been slower on YouTube in the last couple of weeks, so it's kind of my fault. Do not do a Babs or whatever his name is. What do you mean? What did Babs do? Who are your tier 1 Arsenal journalists? Mock Bell, Ornstein, Hand of Arsenal. Those three for me are the tier 1. How much do you pay for Sky Sports in the UK? In Sweden, we need to pay 62 quid a month. I think it's similar for us. The 5 things we learned thing. To be fair, I literally do 5 things we learned from every game, but it's on TikTok, so it's only like a couple of minutes rather than a full video. Outside shout, would like to have Marino replaced by January next summer. Yeah, well, I think Marino is kind of like possibly the lowest. Once we've made the sales that we need to make, Marino could be the lowest kind of ranked midfielder that we have. It's him or Norgard, I guess, depending on what you want. But first time catching you on a live, you love to see it. You love to see it. Anyway, look, this is going to be the end of the stream. I appreciate you all for joining. We will have a quiz question in a second for those of you that like to stay for it. But if you don't, please do like, please do subscribe. Enjoy your evening. It is very hot once again in the UK, but I appreciate you watching, and I will catch you all tomorrow. For those of you that want to stay for the quiz, Sky Sports through Now TV, you can get 20 quid a month. That's not bad, to be fair. That's not bad. What do you do with Havertz next summer when he has 2 years left? Possibly move him on and bring in another striker. Depends on the season he has, to be fair. It does depend on the season that he has. Here's a good one. Fingers on your keyboards. After Freddie Ljungberg left Arsenal, he played for 1 more season in the Premier League. But for which club? After he left Arsenal, Freddie Ljungberg played 1 more season in the Premier League. But for which club? Someone's got it right now, so I can give you your options. Your options were Villa, Newcastle, or West Ham. And the answer was, and the first person to get it correct was, it was Carl. It was indeed West Ham. Carl was first. The 14th Earl of Gurney was second. What a name. Third was Heart of Arsenal. Fourth was Logical Nonsense. And fifth was VV Vlad. So there you go. Congratulations. It was indeed West Ham. And Carl got it first. You absolutely love to see it. Anyway, look, that is going to be the end of the stream. I appreciate you all for joining. Like I said, FPL link is down in the Discord. I'll try and put it in the description of the video as well. If you want to continue the conversation, get down to the Discord too. And we will be back tomorrow, hopefully, with some movement on a sale or a signing. That would be nice. But until then, have a good one and goodbye.